From the dense Amazon forests to the inhospitable archipelagos in the middle of the ocean, our planet is full of incredible places that few know about or do not receive the attention and prominence they deserve. In most cases, these places are remote and difficult to access, which discourages visitors who can only follow and see them through the internet. Today, we will show you the most isolated city in the world, but before checking it out, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. The most inhospitable place in the world is located 3,553 kilometers away from South America and 2,800 kilometers away from South Africa. If you search on Google Maps and manage to spot a small green dot in the vastness of the Atlantic Ocean, you will find an archipelago called Tristan da Cunha Island. On the island, there is a village called Edinburgh of the Seven Seas, which has been named the most isolated city in the world due to the lack of technology. This island remained unknown until a commander named Tristan da Cunha discovered it in 1506 during a voyage. But how is it possible to reach this city? Firstly, you must go to Cape Town in South Africa, as this is the closest point to the island. From there, you need to take a boat towards the city of Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. You might be wondering why not go by plane? This is not an option because the island's territory is so small that there is no space to build a runway. To reach the island, there is a lot of bureaucracy to deal with, and it can take up to a year. It is not enough to just arrive at a South African port and board the first ship towards the archipelago. Since 1816, the island has belonged to the United Kingdom and permission from the government is required to go to Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. Only 10 trips per year are made to the location, with a capacity of only 12 people at a time, and the cost per seat is $10,000. The captains are very cautious, and the journey is only made if the weather is calm. Any sign of rain prevents the boat patrols from leaving Cape Town. The journey to the city lasts 6 to 7 exhausting days, and you will not have many entertainment options on board. The most you will get is a few hours of watching the monotonous sea that will surround you on all sides. Moreover, the available space is very limited, and you will have to share it with 11 other passengers, even when it comes to sleeping. After those days, you still won't be able to go directly to your destination, as there are no landmarks or demarcations of the city. You will then have to be transported to a smaller boat, and only then will you be taken to solid ground. But the challenges don't end there. What to do in such an isolated and distant place? There are no hotels in Hamburgo dos Sitmares. The most viable options for comfort are the homes of the locals, who charge around $70 per person including 3 daily meals. For leisure, there is only one bar in the city that is open for a few hours. Energy comes from a diesel generator that provides light to the residences of almost 300 people who live there. There is no cell phone signal in Hamburgo dos Sitmares. There is only one very outdated computer on the island, which even provides poor quality internet. The island only received television signal in 2001, and until now, there is only one channel available, the British Armed Forces channel. There are no options for those who enjoy watching TV. If you need to go to the market, there is only one in town, and orders must be placed 30 days in advance. Once the orders are placed, the lists are sent to fishing boats that travel to Cape Town once a month, but it is impossible to know when your order will arrive, depending on weather forecasts. Sailors cannot even leave the port of South Africa. All the inhabitants of the region are part of the same family, descended from the 15 first people who arrived in the 19th century, including the settler Jonathan, who was the first to stay on the island for some time. All members of the city are encouraged to dedicate themselves to agriculture and fishing, the main sources of livelihood in the region. The most complicated thing is getting sick on the island. There is only one hospital with doctors and nurses who can only take care of less severe cases. But in cases of risk, such as emergencies that require immediate surgery, the 7-day journey by sea must be made to the city of Cape Town. If the patient's condition is severe, they may not be able to wait that long for treatment, but let's not be pessimistic. There are also many advantages for those seeking peace and tranquility in the most isolated place on the planet. Among the attractions in Tristan da Cunha are deep dives into the crystal-clear waters of the ocean and birdwatching, such as penguins and some species that migrate to the region in the summer. The best choice is to enjoy the option of man and nature, which can be experienced during a trip to the top of Queen Mary's Peak volcano, which is 2,062 meters high. It's the perfect place for those dreaming of escaping the stress of work and traffic present every day in big cities. However, according to some residents, life on the island was not always so peaceful. Of course, it's impossible to ignore the fact that the neighbor of all the inhabitants is a huge volcano that can erupt at any moment, and during the summer of 1961, it actually did. Before that happened, the British government evacuated the entire island and housed the residents in London. The volcanic eruptions lasted for 2 years until the lava mountain finally calmed down. Life in one of the world's largest cities, such as London, was something astounding for the island residents who were used to living only with their families in Hamburg of the Seven Seas. That's why, in 1963, the vast majority of those who were taken to England decided to return to their affairs in the remote island of Tristan da Cunha. Life there is different from London. They had peace, tranquility, and could also live in a community where the police are not necessary because no crime has been reported to this day in the most isolated city in the world. In Hamburg of the Seven Seas, there is no need to worry about the car parked on the avenue or if the door of your house is left open all night long. Occasionally, some young residents decide to take risks outside the peaceful city. Of course, it's impossible to ignore the fact that the neighbor of all inhabitants is a huge volcano that can explode at any time, and during the summer of 1961, it actually did. Before this happened, the British government evacuated the entire island and housed the residents in London. The volcanic eruptions continued for 2 years until the lava mountain finally calmed down. Life in one of the world's largest cities like London was something astonishing for the island's residents, who were used to only living with their families in Hamburg of the Seven Seas. That's why in 1963, the majority of those who were taken to England decided to return to their lives on the remote island of Tristan da Cunha. Life there is different from London. They had peace, tranquility, and could also live in a community where the police are not necessary, as no crime has been reported to this day in the most isolated city in the world. In Hamburg of the Seven Seas, there's no need to worry about leaving your car parked on the avenue or leaving your front door open all night. Occasionally, some young residents decide to take a risk outside of the peaceful city. They go to big cities and experience the best that the modern world has to offer, but over time, they always end up returning to the calm and peaceful village where they can build a beautiful family without having to worry about bigger problems. There are no private properties on Tristan da Cunha Island. Each family received a piece of land to cultivate and another to build their homes. These lands are passed down from generation to generation, which ensures that no new resident comes to be part of the Society of Hamburg of the Seven Seas. So, if you are interested in buying a house there, you can forget about it. If too many visitors decided to go to the island at once, the most isolated city in the world would cease to be so peaceful, which would be a great inconvenience for the region's inhabitants who value peace and tranquility. That's why the journey is full of difficulties, and the permit takes so long to be accepted. For this reason, the boat trip is so expensive, and only 12 places are available. The island's inhabitants are aware that after encountering so many obstacles, the vast majority of visitors end up giving up. At first glance, the city of Hamburg of the Seven Seas may not seem like the best place in the world to enjoy a beautiful vacation, as there are no hotels, restaurants, or the best services available. The beaches are not safe for swimming or sunbathing, and as for the weather, rain is the predominant climate on the island, with over 20 consecutive days of rainfall per month. Furthermore, there is a huge volcano in the middle of the island that could erupt at any moment. However, this city offers something that is very hard to find nowadays: complete isolation. Do you prefer the hustle and bustle of a big city or the peace and tranquility that only the countryside can offer? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to check out previous videos from the Discovering the Beauty of the World channel. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and share. Until next time, bye-bye.